Hi, this is Melanie for Pardesi. I'm here to do a special video. Today is Prabhas' 37th birthday. So if you didn't know, if you haven't seen my introduction video to this channel, my entire love of Southern Indian films came from seeing Prabhas in the first Bahubali film in the theater. And when I saw him in that first introduction, you know, I was just a goner, basically. So I wanted to do this video to give a little bit of appreciation of why I love Prabhas so much. Because once I saw the first Bahubali film 4 times in the theater alone, then I had to find out more about him. I had to watch more of his films. I have seen, I believe, 10 of his films in Telugu industry, and then I watched his little cameo in that one scene of the Hindi film Action Jackson. So if you count that as 11. I have many favorites. Obviously, everyone loves the Bahubali films. So I'm not going to spend so much time talking about that, although I love them dearly. I have seen them so many times. Those are the only Indian films that I have made my family, my 3 sons, and my husband sit down to watch. For the first Bahubali film, my birthday was in the summer, and I sat them down when it came out on YouTube, and I said, okay, you have to watch this film with me. That's all that I want for my birthday. And then when the second film came out in theaters last May, I said, you know, it was around Mother's Day here, and I said, that's all I want for Mother's Day is for all of you to come with me to the theater. Of course, I saw it the first day on the IMAX, but I said, you have to come and see it with me. So they all came. My middle son was very, very disappointed about how little screen time Avantika got in the second film. But anyway, so that is how large those films are for me. I have some favorites of his other films. I'm not going to do like a top 5 list or a top 10 list. I'm just going to talk about some things that I really love about Prabhas. One thing I love about him in real life is I can tell that he is really a good actor, because in any interview that I have seen of him, he is obviously so shy in real life. He looks like when an interviewer is complimenting him, that he would like to just sink into the floor and disappear. It's so adorable. At least he seems to me to be a very modest, shy person, and it shows when he shows such a force of personality in the film what a good actor he is. He's known obviously for action. The opening scene of Mirchi, which if you have never seen another Prabhas film besides the Bahubali films, that would be probably my #1 recommendation for you to see. In Mirchi, the opening scene, no one else could make it look cool to be wearing a keytar and do an action scene. I just found that so hilarious. There's a famous scene at the interval when he grabs a machete out of the mud of a rice field and he puts it in his mouth and he wraps on a bandana, and it feels very much like scenes from Bahubali, where he just leaps into action with that machete. And I talked about recently the Chhatrapati introduction scene with his fight scene with a shark. Even when he comes out of that water, he has so much attitude. He just oozes cool when he is doing action scenes. Partially it's his height, but he just is amazing. And also, the film Rebel is not my favorite film, but there is one particular action scene he just looks so incredibly cool. I love also how he can mix comedy in with action. And my favorite example of this, besides the keytar and Mirchi, is the film Bujigudu, where he is on a bus and he is watching a Rajnikant movie on the bus, and 2 robbers start to rob everybody on the bus, and he is just annoyed that they are interrupting his watching of the Rajnikant film. So basically beats them up just because how dare they interrupt the great Rajnikant, which I just thought was so funny. And it's just the way he delivers it that is just classic, absolutely classic. That's what I learned about him from watching some of his other films, is that he's really kind of a goofball. And he has done great comedy scenes with Anushka from Bahubali and other films like in Mirchi and Bila. He's done some great comedy with her. But then my favorite of his romantic comedies is Mr. Perfect with Kajal. There's something about the chemistry of the two of them together. And I love the hate to love trope, you know, when two people meet and they hate each other, and then of course, you know, they're going to get together. And this is one of the early scenes where they just hate each other, and they're at a dinner and they're just doing all sorts of things to get at each other, and he's bribing her little brother to make her uncomfortable. It's just delicious. I absolutely love that movie. But of course, one of the main reasons that I love Prabhas is that he is sexy as hell. Obviously, he had plenty of shirtless scenes and just looked absolutely buff and fantastic in films like Bahubali. He may not be the best dancer in the world, but he looks very good with girls draped on him or leaning against him or whatever. He makes it work. Let's just put it that way. And one of his earlier films, Varsham, where he always meets the heroine when it's raining. Oh my gosh, this scene, this particular song, In the Rain, whoo, this is maybe one of his steamiest love song sequences ever. Possibly only topped by, there's one little moment. I have some issues with this scene in the first Bahubali scene, but this little moment of Prabhas, oh man. I realized, you know, there's a lot of people that have only seen the Bahubali films, and you're just scratching the surface with what is so awesome about Prabhas. He's great at action, he's great at comedy, and he was really sexy. So I'm so excited to see something completely new in this Saho trailer that we'll hopefully get soon. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see the next chapter of what he's going to do with his career, because he is so multi-talented, and he's the entire reason that I watch Telugu films, and I have to thank him for that, because it's been a whole new world for me, and I've loved learning about it. So very different than the Hindi industry, and I love it. I love it for all of its zaniness. I love the machete fights. I love everything, because I was first introduced to all of that world through Prabhas. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Please hit share. I'd love for you to subscribe here to Pardesi, and follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Pardesi YT.